feel like I just saw a piece of cat hair fall from someplace. Whatever. Hi everybody, welcome back to Amber Unabridged. I'm Amber, and I'm going to talk about my 2024 reading goals. I thought about doing a wrap-up of 2023, but realistically, it just wasn't my favorite reading year. I read a lot of stuff that didn't stick with me, and I read a few great books, but I'd rather just talk about the stuff for 2024 that I'm really excited about. If you're really curious about 2023, you can ask me in the comments and I'll reply. Let's talk about this year. I have some slightly different goals this year. The first thing that I really want to do is finish reading all of the books that I had started reading before 2024. So, presently, that is 4 titles, and it's these 4. Whoop. So, as you can see, some of them are chunky. I started Les Mis a few years ago. And I just keep reading little bits and pieces and not just committing to it. And I think I just need to commit to it. And I want to. I am 334 pages into 1468. So it's not nothing, but it's not enough. I'm currently actively working on Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. This is the last Jane Austen novel that I have to read, and then I will have finally read all 6 of her novels, completed novels. And I know that there's a lot of other works to read, and I would like to read those. But I'm working on that. I'm 252 pages into 417, so not too shabby. The Inheritance Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I finished the first novel because it's a bind-up of multiple novels. I think it's 3 novels and a novella or short story or something. So I finished the first book in the Inheritance Trilogy, and I really enjoyed it a lot. But then I stopped reading it. I was reading this last year. I stopped reading it because I was so focused on meeting my book goal, my Goodreads goal, my number of books within the year goal, and so I stopped reading this chunky beast in favor of shorter and easier works. This year I actually set my reading goal to be a lot lower than I have for the last several years because I don't want to do that again. So I have some other goals for this year aside from reading these 4 books. And then the 4th one I have is Japanese Gardens. Normally has a really pretty cover. I take the sleeves off of hardcovers when I read them, and I didn't feel like grabbing it before filming this video, so I didn't. So yes, that brings me to my yearly reading goal. For the last several years, I have aimed to read 100 books a year, and I've succeeded. But a lot of times towards the end of the year, it can be a bit of a scramble, and especially if I have a couple months where I don't really read much or anything at all, it can be a bit hectic in December to read. I'll focus on lots of comics, lots of kids' books. I feel like I've read a lot of romance novels, and I enjoy them. But especially because of how quickly I was consuming them, and because I do listen to a lot of romance novels as audiobooks, they all kind of just blur together after a while, and they don't particularly stand out. So this year I want to be more intentional with my reading and try to just, be able to look back on my reading journal and on my video content, which I intend to post more of, and actually be like, yeah, that was a good book, and that was also a good book, and that was a good reading year, that's my goal for myself for this year. Again, I want to finish those 4 books that I started. They're a little hefty. A couple of them are particularly hefty. You know, I think I can do it. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. I do want to post more videos this year also. I really want to get back into my Short Story Sunday videos. I want to do some more book reviews. I want to just talk about books in general. Just hang out with you guys, you know, have some conversations. So if there's anything in particular that you would like me to post about, let me know. But now that brings me to my next thing that I'm doing, which is weird. A few years ago, I was doing the If You Got It, Read It challenge that Sue and Megan at Spinebreakers were doing as a way to encourage people to read more books that they own. It was loosely based off of, not super loosely based, but it was inspired by the Book Right, Read Harder challenge, which is a really great challenge, but they found for themselves, and I could relate as well, that when working towards the Book Right, Read Harder challenge, we ended up reading and occasionally purchasing more books and not reading the ones that we owned. So they did this challenge, I think 2 years in a row, and I just thought it was the coolest thing because I own a lot of books and I wanted to read more of them, and that is always my goal all the time, even if I'm not very good at it. I also have to finish a kind of project that I started back in 2020 when I was doing the challenge that year. I don't remember why I did it or how I found out about it or what, but I bought these puzzles, right? They're blank. There's a few of them. There's a significant number of them. And I got 2 sets. And I got it in my head that when I was completing the If You Got It, Read It challenge, that I wanted to decorate the puzzle pieces with the covers of the books that I read. Please hold. My cat's being mischief. And I started doing it, and I was having a lot of fun with it, and I thought it was so cool and so fun. And I have some of those now. I can show you. I can put a picture of like the completed puzzle here. But I can also just kind of show you the ones that I've done. So I got rid of a couple of the books already. So I got rid of The Cherry Orchard, but this was the cover. It's got cat hair on it. Vincent. This one took a while. So I did The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. This was Gemina. I've unhauled this book since, but I thought that one turned out really cool. The Lead Child and Other Stories, which I've got up there, but I don't feel like grabbing it. This one is Within Reach. So this one turned out pretty cool. And then I actually just did this one very recently. So I think that turned out pretty cool. So yeah, I started working on that, and I need to finish it because I just have 5 pieces, well now 6, of a 12-piece puzzle. And I'm going to have to do a second puzzle so that, because it was 24 prompts. And so I'm going to be working on that this year while doing, like, I don't know, watching TV or whatever, watching Pride and Prejudice, the BBC miniseries version for the 150th time, you know, like you do. So I'm going to be working on that, but I also got it in my head that I wanted to do more because I am extra sometimes. So even though I'm actually not all that extra, a lot of times I'm just like, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, whatever, cool. But sometimes I really push myself, and this is a year that I want to do that. So what I've decided to do is I have decided that I'm going to do more puzzles and decorate them with book covers to encourage myself to read more books that I own this year. And I have done it a little bit differently than an overall 24 prompt challenge. I've given myself 3 official 12 prompt challenges. I've created some spreads for them. I have a 4th challenge as well That is a little bit more of a bonus, and it's because I did 3 of them, and then I had an extra page in my journal, and I needed to fill it with something, so I came up with an idea. Vincent? So, I've decided that I want to use these puzzles as a way to encourage myself to read more physical books that I own, because I have so many. And I also really want to prioritize reading physical books this year. I've fallen out of the habit of reading physical books. It's been hard for me to focus. That's probably the undiagnosed ADHD. But I want to push myself to really read more of my physical books. So I will go into my little prompts here. So the first, what I'm calling for my reading goals, I'm calling them puzzle prompts. So I have a novels puzzle prompts, which is 12 goals, which once completed will complete one puzzle. And then I have 12 for nonfiction, and I have 12 for short story collections, because I have a lot. And I keep wanting to get to them, and I keep not doing it, because I keep reading shorter books or faster books and not working on the things that I own. So, I'll go through the prompts. And I would like to invite anybody who wants to, if you are looking for motivation to read more novels or more nonfiction or more short story collections that you own, you are more than welcome to use these prompts and participate in this with me. I feel like we can do like a hashtag, and if you want to participate, post about it. Throw in the hashtag, tag me so I can see, because I'm curious to see if anyone else is interested in enacting this little weird these lists that I've created. I think they're solid lists. I'm just also going to be decorating puzzle pieces with the covers once I'm completed with them. So if y'all want to do something artsy to celebrate your accomplishment, I fully encourage you to do so. So for the novels, my 12 prompts are to read a novel or novella you've owned for 5 or more years. Read a book you've owned less than a year. Read a sequel. Read a book you've had on a TBR in the past. Read a book that's 500 or more pages. Alonzo, were you mad that Vinny was getting all the mischief? Read a classic. Read a cover by. Read a YA or middle grade novel. Read a new to you author. Read a favorite author. Read any novel or novella from your shelves, and have someone else choose a book from your shelves for you to read. So those are my prompts for the novels. Did something a little bit different for nonfiction. So for nonfiction, I have read a book you've owned 5 or more years. Read a book you've owned less than 5 years. Read a book about a people. Read a book about a place. Read a book about some kind of art. Read a book about racism or anti-racism. Read a biography or memoir. Read an impulse buy. Read an epistolary nonfiction. Read a nonfiction on nature or nature writing. Read any nonfiction from your shelves, and have someone else choose a nonfiction from your shelves. I have the same last 2 prompts for all the categories, because I feel like it's kind of like a bonus that can be just any nonfiction at all, and kind of I like the one of having someone else pick something, because it might help you read something that you would not have picked yourself. So I like that. So my next set of 12 for short story collections is to read a collection you've owned 5 or more years. Read a collection you've owned less than 5 years. Read a collection with a theme, and that is very loose. It can be any theme. Read a collection that's less than 100 pages, or as close to 100 as you have. Read your largest collection, or a collection of 500 or more pages. Read a collection written by one author. Read a collection by various authors. Read a collection by one or multiple BIPOC authors. Read a book published 10 or more years ago. Read a book published less than 10 years ago. Read any short story collection from your shelves, and have someone else choose a short story collection for you to read. So those are my 3 main goals. I really want to read more of my physical books. Yeah, I had the idea to do the puzzle thing, and excuse you, sir. But yeah, I had this thought, and I was like, well, what if I read 13 novels? Or what if I read, 15 short story collections? How do I choose which ones go on the puzzles? And I was like, oh, I'll just do some prompts. And then it's fun. And then it's a cool little weird challenge, and it's a good time. So, excited for that. But like I said, when I was putting them in my reading journal here, I had this one filled out, and then I was like, no, there's another page. There's another page. So I came up with a fourth puzzle idea. I was bouncing the ideas off of some friends of mine. I was talking with my friend Kyle, and my friend Sam. Sam, you might know from the Drunken Library, which is our duo channel, and she also has her own channel, Sarcasm and Sci-Fi. Highly recommend checking it out. She posts some fun stuff, and she's getting a little bit more active again too. So, but anyway, I was like, man, I think I got to do a fourth one for ebooks, because I have a lot of ebooks I don't read either. And she's like, well, do you really want to set yourself up? Do you think you'll actually do it, or are you just kind of saying you're going to do it and then you're not going to get around to it? And I was like, I'm probably saying I'm going to do it and not get around to it. What I decided to commit to is a ebook and audiobook list, to read more ebooks and audiobooks that I own. I have a lot of ebooks on Kindle that I mostly read through the app on my phone, and then I also have a bunch of books that I have purchased on Audible over the years, and I also have some Chirp books, which, if you're not familiar with Chirp, is a free app, and there's no monthly subscription. You just buy the books when they're available. They always have deals on stuff, so you can get a book that you own. It's another audiobook service where you own the books, but you can get them for $5 or less. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, came up with a list of prompts. So I did 6 for audiobooks and 6 for ebooks. So my prompts for them are, the first 6 are for ebooks. So it's read a nonfiction ebook, read a short story collection ebook, read a novel ebook, read an ebook by a non-American, read any ebook you own, and have someone else choose an ebook you own to read. The next is audiobooks. So I have listen to a nonfiction audiobook, listen to an audiobook narrated by the author, listen to a full cast or dual narration audiobook, listen to a book in a series, listen to any audiobook you own, and have someone else choose an audiobook you own to read. So, yeah, those are my reading goals for this year. I am very excited about it. Part of why I am not releasing this video until mid-January is because I didn't know what I wanted to do for a while, and then I started figuring it out, and I was super sick. So now I know, and I'm sharing with you. I haven't filled in any books as a TBR specifically because I intentionally left them very open so that as a mood reader, I would not feel caged into anything. So just as I finish stuff that fulfills the prompts, or as I pick things to try to fulfill the prompts, I will fill them in. And I know that the physical books that I brought into 2024 will all contribute to something or other on here. So I'm really optimistic that I can accomplish all my reading goals this year. And yeah, if I just read the 48 books that fulfill this, then great. I know I'm going to already do a little bit more than that because I've maybe gotten some books from the library possibly, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Just in general, I'm also tracking books that I borrow from the library now, and then whether I read them or not, because it can be a future TBR if I end up not reading them before returning them. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, that's my goal. That's the dream. I'm hoping to read more of my books. I'm hoping to watch more BookTube again. When I get overwhelmed with reading, I don't watch a lot of BookTube because then I feel like I'm failing really hard. So I'm trying to keep myself motivated and engaged and interacting with everybody, because this community has been really great for me over the years. So I'm pretty excited for that. That's 2024. Hopefully. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and good luck on your reading goals for the year.